Welcome to the New Power dev server. In this video I will be giving an overview of the Hawker-Siddeley Harrier GR1. This was the only vertical takeoff aircraft available on this first iteration of the dev server, with the other British and American Harrier variants and the Russian vertical takeoff aircraft seemingly not quite being ready yet. The Harrier GR1 will be a premium Tier 5 British aeroplane, currently slated for BR 9.7 and costing 8,910 Golden Eagles. The flight performance seems to be decent all round. I would say that the standard maneuverability of the aircraft is fairly average, although the turning circle can be reduced a bit by actively using the nozzles while turning. However, I will need to test this a bit further to work out which nozzle angles are the most effective at giving both a turning improvement while also not losing too much speed. As for climb rate, I tested the aircraft in a 30-degree climb, and the Harrier did continue to accelerate while also climbing quite nicely, gaining around 9,000 feet in around 30 seconds. On the stat card, the climb rate is listed as 66.7 meters per second, which puts it in the same ballpark as other higher BR premiums, such as the Hunter FGA9. As for speed, the Harrier is powered by a Rolls-Royce Pegasus Mark 101 jet engine. This can get the Harrier close to supersonic, but it is just subsonic in level flight at both sea level and altitude. However, the acceleration to those speeds is certainly quite impressive, especially the acceleration at lower speeds, which makes the transition from hover to level flight quite an easy and quick process. So moving on to weapons, the Harrier GR1 has 4 individual weapon types that can be used in a good selection of payload layouts to allow for both air-to-air capability, air-to-ground capability, or a mix of both. Firstly, bombs. You have both 500 pound and 1,000 pound bombs, with up to 5 of the former being carried or 4 of the latter, or in both cases 3 bombs in combination with air-to-air missiles. Now, the GR1 does lack a ballistic computer, but with a bit of practice, hitting targets accurately should not be too much of an issue. And if you so wish, you could try hovering above the target to drop the bombs, although this will make you quite an easy target for enemy fire. As for unguided rockets, the Harrier can use SNEB Type 23s and can carry up to 108 of these in 6 pods or 72 of these in 4 pods when also carrying air-to-air missiles. There is no ballistic computer for these rockets, but since you do get a fair few of them, you should be able to hit targets by firing the rockets in large numbers. As for actually damaging targets, 300mm of best effective pen should be adequate for damaging most armored targets that you will face. The final type of suspended weaponry on the Harrier GR1 are of course the air-to-air missiles. These are SRAMs, with up to 4 of these missiles being carried on the outer wing pylons. These are IR-guided missiles and have a 20 G max overload and a rather short range of 1.24 miles or 2 kilometers. Now, these are what would be called a dogfight missile, definitely being more suited to close-range engagements rather than other missiles which tend to have a bit more range. In addition to the pylon weapons, the Harrier then has a pair of 30mm Aiden Mark IV cannons with 200 rounds per gun. As the guns are currently not visible in the X-ray view, I've taken the stat card for the Aiden cannons on the Hunter to give an example of how these guns should perform. A few other points of note: the Harrier does currently lack a cockpit model, although I assume this will be added alongside the other versions of the Harrier in the second dev server iteration. It also currently only has a single camouflage option, although I am hopeful that it will receive more options in the future. As for vertical flight, it does take a little bit of getting used to, but after flying around for a little bit, it does actually become relatively easy, at least it did in my case. Well, that more or less does it for my overview of the Harrier GR1 on the first iteration of War Thunder's New Power update. Do let me know what you think of vertical takeoff aircraft in War Thunder in the comments, or more specifically, this aircraft in particular. I am hopeful that on the second dev server iteration we will be able to see a few more vertical takeoff aircraft, be that more versions of the Harrier such as the GR3, the AV-8A and the AV-8C, or maybe even some Russian vertical takeoff aircraft such as the Yak-38. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider dropping a like, and if you wish to see more content such as this, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching, I'll see you in the next one.